Welcome to Career Journals. I'm your host, Faye, and in each episode, we talk to professionals in different industries about their careers, personal growth, and everything in between. If you're in school or just figuring it out, we're here to help. Help explore what's out there and how to get you there. Hello, thanks for
Hello.
joining. How are you feeling, Brandon?
I'm
How's
feeling pretty
life?
well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Let's just get stuck in. So tell me about your job, in the most simple way, your job title, and then just break it down for us. What do you do?
Got you. So I'm an implementation consultant, and I work for. I'm a partner with Monday, so we do basically
Nice.
implementations for companies. Basically, clients come to us, and we help them take Monday.com and make it best for their processes and whatever they want to use for it. It could be CRM, which is the customer relations management, or work
Yes.
management, kind of like project based. It could be service, which is more so people who are looking to implement like IT service. There's also AI and things of that nature, and then also Monday Dev, which is they're kind of doing something with that right now. But all that to say, to simple it, because I just said a whole bunch of stuff, but to make it simple is basically a client comes to me and I help make Monday work for whatever they want it to do.
And then taking a step back, because I've worked with Monday with my previous roles as well. Because I know Monday, the end user can vary. So I'm in marketing, so we used it for a lot of our marketing campaigns just to map out what we want to do from start to finish.
Yeah.
So what does Monday.com do? Who are the end users? I know it varies, but give us a quick spiel of who that would be.
So it really does vary because right now I have a couple projects. One project is a government contract where they're using it to help their voter calendar. They're doing like a kind of like voting, and they had to set up sites and do inventory and stuff like that. So that's one project within Merck Management. Another one is just got done kind of working on a build for someone who sells RVs. Wow. Into connect with dealers and connect with people who are like the average consumer, kind of B2B, B2C contacts, and just kind of taking leads in and setting up deals and whatnot. And there's another one that deals with marketing, so it's just it really does vary. That's the best way I can say. But Monday is very flexible, though. It is a program, or it is a product that can kind of really do anything as far as what somebody's looking for. Mostly native, but it's third party apps that can kind of do things maybe Monday can't do itself. But it's pretty nice, pretty robust. But you have to know what you're doing as far as building it.
Exactly.
A lot of people they'll give Monday flack if they kind of use it. I don't understand how this is. But it's you have to have someone who has the expertise, or you have to learn, which is cool about Monday. You can actually learn yourself how to do it. You won't need somebody like me to kind of go in and build it, because it can be a little bit of a curve. But once you get into it, I find clients, once I consult them, they might be like, okay, we got it, and just kind of build what they want to build, because I kind of consulted them in that way. But yeah,
that's amazing.
It's hard to say what does it do or who are
exactly, because there's so much possibilities. I know even some companies are not using it to the full capabilities of what it could do. I guess this is where you come in, where they have an idea, they have a project, something they're working on, and they want you to come and pretty much help build out those processes on a platform like Monday.com. Okay,
exactly.
Cool. Let's take a step back. So tell me about what you wanted to do growing up, and what you ended up studying in undergrad, and what brought you to your current role right now.
Got you. So, if I'm honest, this is gonna sound very sad, but when I was in high school, I had a really rough go at things. A lot of things in life weren't life, and at that point. And so I just remember distinctly being in because I had to take summer school 1 year, because it was, like I said, when I said it was rough, I'm a smart person. I graduated high school with a high GPA and everything, but it was one point in middle school where I just did not do well, or there was one class I just did not finish something for. I had to take summer school, and the summer school teacher asked everybody in class, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm just like, nothing. Everybody laughed at me. I was just like, I don't have any aspirations.
And a lot of people go through that. That's
and I was
common.
Just like, everybody say what they want. That might be the case where they know, but I just didn't know. But I don't know, it wasn't a good answer. So I just remember that very distinctly. And then just even after that fact, I had a rough time in high school, and even like it was like a point where I was just like, if college is anything like high school, I don't want it. So
Mm,
I didn't have any like real aspirations as far as like going to college as well. Until my aunt, she kind of convinced me to do the groups program, which is
yes.
well, shout out to groups, IU, and Indiana University Bloomington. That's what I went through.
Yes.
Um, and I just found that I really was like, wow, this is totally different than what I
Hmm.
expected.
Can you also
But
quickly explain
yeah,
what groups is for those who don't know? Because that's
oh
also
yeah,
an
so Groups
incredible program.
basically
Yeah.
is a program for first generation college students, typically people of color. But it's just a place where you can kind of get a leg up. You take classes. There's three classes you take. I don't know if it's changed since I've been there, but I took
Yeah,
three
it might have
classes.
changed since we've been, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
math, it was a reading class and the English class, I believe, and basically, if you pass those classes, you get to kinda get a leg up within IU. It happens during the
Hmm.
summertime. You meet a lot of cool people. There's a lot
Yeah.
of good people that, you get connected with. I still have people that I know that I connect with groups, and then also, like, just the staff of groups, just being able to go to the
Hmm.
group's office and just be like, hang out with, Scott or whomever else, Mr.
Yeah.
Isom,
And build
all
that
these different people
community
that I
as well,
remember.
for sure.
Yeah, it was a good way for me to kind of transition to college because outside of that,
Hmm.
I probably wouldn't have gone. I literally it was groups or bust because I
Yeah.
all I did was I applied for groups and then I applied to go to IU and I didn't apply
Hmm.
to any other schools because I was just
Oh,
like,
wow. I didn't know that.
oh,
It worked out.
and
It
so
worked out. Yeah.
that was the move. I don't know what I would have done outside of that, but
Hmm.
here I am today. But to answer your question about college too, because my life is a whirlwind. I started off as an informatics major, and then I just was like, okay, this is a lot. Like I
Yeah.
said, I won't go into deep detail about my life or like with the hecticness from middle school to
Yeah.
all the way into high school that was trickling into college. But it was just a lot going on. So I switched my majors a lot. I went from informatics to human development, which is a whirlwind. That's like such a stark contrast
Yes.
to people. And then I went to telecommunications, which I loved. I love
Hmm.
telecom so much. It was like, this is what I understand, and video editing and all these things. But it was just like I had to take Spanish, and I was terrible at foreign languages. And I really don't
Yeah.
like the
Same
fact
here.
that, hey, I really want to do this thing, but foreign language. I took a couple Spanish classes and I was terrible at it. That's why I had to switch around.
Hmm.
And so I landed on liberal arts, which kind of covered all the credits that I kind of missed
Yeah.
around. And I graduated liberal arts degree, and I'm
Hmm.
proud because I figured I made it. I made it through. I didn't think I
Yeah.
was going to make it
And that in
because
itself is
a
not
lot of
easy. Just like
circumstances
school
really,
itself. Yep.
yeah,
Hmm.
it was a lot going on. So yeah, so that's pretty much my journey. Sorry, that was long winded, but
No,
yeah,
that's literally what we want because we want to let people know that there's so much that can happen before you end up in where you are. And even with the role you are right now, so much can happen in
yeah,
the next 5, 10, 15 years.
yeah,
So that's just, it's amazing. So, how did you end up in your current role? So, what jobs did you apply for? Like, what did you have
yeah.
to learn? What skills, I guess, did you have to pick up? Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, so how I got to the role I am right now, I was like really hunting. I took a leap of
Mm-hmm.
faith and came to Houston because I lost my job like back in I want to say 2021. It was
Mm,
like kind of
okay.
like still in the COVID era,
Yeah, COVID
and
was rough. Yeah.
there was a point where I think we were actually coming out of COVID, funny enough, and
Mm-hmm.
or like the whatever we want to call
Yeah,
that.
whatever that phase was. Yeah.
Yeah, that phase, whatever that phase was. And they were letting people go, and I was one of the people they
Mm-hmm.
let go. And I had to go move with my parents, and it was just like
Yeah.
a whole thing. And I just remember distinctly just being like so defeated. And this is the job that going to talk about is the midway between the job that I have now, just to kind
Okay.
of give you context.
Yes.
Well, first I started working at Amazon, and I just
Mm-hmm.
remember just like it was such a challenging thing to me because it's just like coming from like the jobs that I worked into like getting to like more of a, like a blue collar thing, was just like
Yeah.
I've worked blue collar when I was in college. That's what you're supposed to
Mm-hmm.
do. I mean, not what
Right.
you're supposed to do. It's like you kind of work your way up. So I was like, I
Exactly.
had an office job. I was doing well, and
Mhm.
then I got moved back to this, and I'm working like nights, and I'm just like tired. But
Yeah,
I would
odd
listen to
hours.
"Through the Fire" by Kanye West at time.
Yeah.
Like I would drive to work. I was like, I remember this. Like, I remember the day like when I finally leave my parents' house and I like listen to this
Mhm.
song. I'm gonna remember all the other days. So that's like my like kind of like my like totem song to be like,
Mhm.
okay, it's not that bad. You got through it.
Yeah, the
Sometimes you
hustle.
need something to like. kind of imprint on you. So like when you hear
Yes.
it in the future, it's like, I remember when I was back
Mm-hmm. And that
busting.
nostalgia, it just hits you. Yeah, for
Yeah, you
sure.
lifting pallets and moving stuff around at Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
You got through her. So and I'm not saying that Amazon is like a this,
No,
but
no,
for
no, no.
me,
Yeah.
it just was like me losing my job and having to do
Mm-hmm.
something like
And it's a
that.
shift. Like it's a
It just
huge
was like such a
mental and
shift.
physical shift. Yeah, for sure. Because you're
Yeah,
going
but
from like having a desk or like office job to like physically having to like be out in the like,
yeah,
it's not
yeah. Just
easy.
like what in the world? And so
Mm-hmm.
and then I finally found a job with Metro government. So I worked in
Mm-hmm.
pretty much in, what am I trying to say? I worked in benefits and HR because I did HR
Okay.
work before I got laid off, or
Oh wow.
fired, or I guess laid off. What's
Mm.
the difference? But yeah, and then I got into the HR kind of field. So I was always kind of like within the HR IT kind of
Mm-hmm.
space. With all like my work experience. Even back in IU, when I worked in IU, I started off doing like IT stuff. Well, I started off in
Mm-hmm.
like food service, but that's the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing. But yeah, did IT stuff. So IT and then HR kind of was like the kind of like what I was cultivating over my like career
Mm-hmm.
history. And so how I ran into this job, I was saving up with my parents. Like I was telling my parents, I was like, okay, I'm about to go. I'm about to go to Houston.
I'm doing
I had a
this.
lot of
Yeah.
money saved up, and I'll tell you, leap of faith, leap of faith. I just took
Yes.
the money that I had, and I was like, hey, to my roommate, like, hey, can we room together? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. January, I was here and I was hitting the
Wow.
ground running, just applying. I was just like applying. And an economy like this is very difficult. So it
It's
definitely was
tough.
like a faith step for me to be like, okay, like I hope something shakes. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
go. I mean, if I have to go back, I was determined not to go back to Amazon, but I was like, if I have to, I
Mm-hmm.
will. But it just was like mentally, I was just like, I got through that point in my life. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back.
Exactly. But also, I have to commend you for like even like right after losing that job, picking up a job at Amazon. That in itself is not an easy task because I feel like
Yeah,
that hustle mentality, because most people just kind of sit in it and just not let life
yeah,
take over. But the fact that you're like, I still need to, money must be made. I have bills to
yeah.
pay. I
I had
have
to figure
ambitions I
some
need
stuff
to
out.
accomplish. So like that in
Yeah.
itself, like I applaud
And
you for
don't
that
get me
because
wrong,
like,
I had my pity
yeah,
parties, I had
no,
my,
for
like,
sure.
woe is me moments, but after that point, it's just like, okay, like,
Yeah, because
woe is
life
me is
keeps
not gonna pay
going.
the bills, woe is me is not
Literally.
gonna get you out of the red, I had to figure this out.
100%,
So
100%.
yeah, so that was that, and then I got here, and it was even here being here, I'm like, okay, my savings are getting drained, like I
Yes, that's
need
a good
something to
point.
shake. And I think it was just like it was in March. So from January to March, I didn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
paid my rent with my savings for 3 months.
Yes.
So you can imagine, like, okay, I had a good amount of savings.
Right. That was
I
pretty
still
impressive.
have some
Yeah.
things now, thankfully.
Yeah.
But it just was like, ooh, like this is looking a little crucial right now. And so I think
Yeah.
it was like the first or second week of March where I finally, it was so crazy how I did it too, because it was an application
Mm-hmm.
that I found on a Sunday, and I signed up for it. And I didn't think, oh no, I have the credit. So you can cut this if you want to, because I don't
Okay.
know if you want friction with these people, but I hate Pop the Balloon. And I was hanging out with my friends. We do these Sunday dinners. And my
Yes.
roommate was just like, oh, I want to watch Pop the Balloon. I'm just like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
hate this. So when I cringed really bad, I had to do something else. So that's when I picked up my laptop and I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna apply for jobs because I just
Right.
can't. I just can't. And so shout out to them.
Yeah.
All right, let me turn this off. Shout
No,
out
no,
to
go
them.
ahead.
I literally found that job while we was watching like Pop the Balloon. I probably wouldn't have ran into it if I wasn't cringing so
Exactly.
bad
You're
and
like,
trying
let
to
me
like
focus
find
on
something
something
else.
else that's not like making me cringe. And it
You said
led to
what?
you applying for like we were pretty much like saying, like, let me focus on something else that's not
Yeah,
the show.
exactly,
That's making me
exactly. And that's the
cringe.
job I found. And then
Yeah.
the rest is history. You know what I
And that
mean? I just
application
was like,
process, so, like, even having to, like, apply, were you applying to so many jobs at a time? Like, what was that looking
yeah.
like?
Oh
It's probably
yeah.
like yeah.
I was on the applying track like every single day. Every
Mm,
single day I would like try to do at least something, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And I'm like some days maybe like I was, kind of like I need to take a mental day, but like
Mhm.
when you have nothing to do, it's just like I
Yeah.
gotta go find
Back to back
something.
to
Like
back,
I don't know
exactly.
how much I've applied for,
Mhm.
but it just was like funny enough, I was looking to like do Workday, but
Mhm.
Workday is such a difficult like feel, or like their platform or their
Yeah.
ecosystem is so hard to break into. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but
Mhm.
it's
I've heard of
kind of
them.
like it's not like Monday. It's like I feel like it's like more of an HR kind of space.
Mhm.
I don't know if it can be used for anything else, but I know typically when I hear it talked about, it's like more like HR related, kind of like
Exactly.
stuff like that. And I was like, okay, that's my wheelhouse. Let me go for it. And
Mhm.
could not break into that ceiling, which is
Mhm.
okay because
Yeah.
I'm here and with my job right now, I really like it, really enjoy it,
Mhm.
and it's
That's
been a good
amazing.
experience. So
Yeah,
yeah.
like, walk me through your day to day now with this current like, job.
Yeah,
So if you were
yeah.
to
So the day
explain,
to
like, what does
day,
that look like? Yeah.
yeah, the day to day for me, so typically I, if I have any meetings, so okay, let me just kind of I guess back up a little bit. So
Mhm.
start off with a new client. Um, I would kind of do a kickoff call, kind of explain what
Mhm.
because it's like the way we do it is like different packages that they have. I explain the
Mhm.
package, and then from that point we kind of start our journey with them. We'll go from a discovery, which is like me talking to the client about what their needs
Mhm.
are, the amount of people who are going to be using the software, their pain points, the challenges that they kind of run into, and how what why they're choosing Monday to kind of solve those problems, the
Mhm.
metrics that they want to show for different things, and kind of go from there. And then after we do a couple of discoveries, I go into the building process, meaning that I
Mhm.
go into the software and start crafting up. Well, I'm supposed to do a proposal for them, kind of like the
Mhm.
outline what the relationship looks like. And then
Mhm.
after that, once they sign that, we get into the building process. I build it. Then we go into a UAT. Sorry, yeah, UAT, user acceptance training to make
Mhm.
sure everything's working the way they're working. If they have any feedback, work on the feedback. Once everything's been polished, we go into training, and then we go into kind of like a hypercare space where we kind of deploy and make sure they're good. If they have any questions, kind of be on standby. But that's at that point, it's the launch, and then they're
Mhm.
good to go. That's pretty
Wow.
much what the process is. But my day to day is basically I have like 5 clients.
Nice.
Yeah, 5 clients, and they're kinda in different phases. So it's like, I'm meeting with them, I'm building different things, I'm waiting for them to get back to me for stuff, so it's kind of interesting. It's not like, every day's the same. It's like, I can have
Exactly.
no meetings one day, I can have a calendar full of meetings a day.
Mhm.
It's kind of varies for this at this point.
Mhm.
This week has been pretty smooth for the most part, but it's more so been, like, me building this week because 'cause I'm like a lot of the clients that I have, they're pretty well along. I have a client that's starting up tomorrow, actually. Hopefully, that goes well as far as, like, the kickoff, but yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it, though. It's kinda
So
like
there's a lot of,
you're
like, face-to-face interaction then, like, you're
yeah,
dealing
yeah,
with a lot of, like, client
through
relations.
virtual, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then it's
That's
also,
really
like, a lot of
impressive.
independent stuff, so
Yeah, so there's a lot of face-to-face interaction where it's, like, client relations, and then you go off and do what is needed, and then you
yeah.
meet with them to, like, figure out where it could go, and then they're pretty much, like, left to their own devices to carry it on. Is that how you would
Yeah,
phrase
pretty
it? Okay.
much.
That's
Mhm.
cool, that's cool. And then what would you say is, like, one challenge you faced, recently and how you navigated that? So it can be a challenge within, like, your current career or just in general when it comes to, like, applying and figuring out, like, what was the next step. So what was that challenge and how you
I
navigated
think
it?
not giving up because there's so
Mm,
many different places where I'm just like, "I
yeah.
need money." The economy is the economy. It's
Yes.
economy.
It
So,
really
just
is.
like just not being in despair, because
Mm,
if I'm being completely frank, I had moments where I'm like, "Am I
yeah,
gonna be able to find something? Was this the right decision for
exactly.
me just to move?" I thought I believed that, making this step would have been, the best step. I had savings, like, I had enough,
Mhm,
runway to give me a little ways, before I needed a job, so this is like I felt like this is the right move, beginning of the
mhm,
year, like, it's gonna be great, which it
mhm.
is now, but you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
like, when you're in the trenches, sometimes you can't see the light because you're kind of like crawling
exactly.
under the wires and you're trying to get to
Literally.
the next destination. I think like if I could like go back in time, I would tell myself it would be all right. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
And I think another challenge I kind of had prior to like starting, right? Or like, in the process of like learning things, it's like that imposter syndrome. Like, am
yes.
I able to do this? Like, I feel like I'm, not capable or not good enough, but I feel like from March till now, which has been about 3 months, I feel like I've kind of gained a lot. Am I
Mhm,
completely like, do I have all the knowledge that I feel like I should have? Maybe not, but
mhm.
I'm pretty confident about everything that I do know. And I feel like
Yes,
very, very much so confident. And like I've been the way my boss put it was he's glad that I'm asking harder questions.
yes.
um, like, if I'm asking something, like if I'm curious about something or if I don't know something that is something that is simple, then that
Mhm.
means I still have some learning to go. But now that I'm
Mhm.
asking more complex things that sometimes stumps my boss or my
Mhm.
coworker who's been here longer, that kind of gives them a little bit more like, oh, okay, he's actually getting it. They're the things that
Mhm.
he's not getting are the things that we're also maybe wrestling with or have to have
Exactly.
an alternate solution or something. But yeah, we're
And
thinking
that's how
about
you know that there's, like, progression as well. Because I
yeah,
feel like the
yeah,
more, like, intricate and in-depth your questions are, the more you're, like, more well equipped in your role, and you know that
right,
you can, like, take on more, which is amazing.
exactly.
That's amazing. My final question before we dive into the Q&A portion is, which you've kind of answered, but I wanna dig a little deeper. So what
Yeah,
advice would you give to your younger self? So your little younger self just trying to figure things out, like, what advice would you give them?
got you. I think I would tell little me to not be afraid to just be yourself. Because I
Mm,
feel like a lot of the things that I'm doing now, or a lot of things that I didn't start doing until now is because I felt hindered by
yeah.
XYZ thing. You know what I mean? And so just like, oh, how am I gonna be perceived by these people
Yes.
or what if I'm not good enough or all these different things? But it's just like we can be our own worst critics. Um
Yes.
and I think there was a point in my childhood that I remember distinctly when I started caring about what people thought. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, "Hey, it's okay." Like,
Yeah.
I would just kind of grab myself and say, "Hey, like, it's okay. Like, we're
Yeah.
gonna be okay. Like,
Yeah.
just continue to do what you want to do, and just be kind." And I'm not
Mm.
saying I was mean, but just like, just do. I'm not like I don't like to give blanket advice like, "Hey, do whatever you want to do." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'm gonna go punch my sister." Like,
Right.
no,
No, not that.
just be a good person and don't be
Yeah.
afraid to like kind of do things that you're afraid of and try new
Mhm.
things, because
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing now. I'm trying new
Mhm.
things and kind of like just getting, all the things that I've been wanting out of life currently.
Mhm.
And if I would have
Yeah.
started earlier, then how much far along would I be? But I'm not
Yeah.
regretting that, because I needed that
Exactly.
process. But no, I'm
I
here.
love that. I love that
Yeah.
advice. The same. I'm definitely the same way. I would if I was to give myself young like advice, my young version of myself, it'd be very similar. Like do what you love and especially if it's not harming anyone, be
Yeah.
yourself and yeah, just be true to what you actually enjoy and like pursue that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
Okay. So now we're gonna move on to our Q&A. It's actually a very short one.
Okay.
So this person says, I've applied for an implementation consultant role. They've called me for an interview. So the question is, what questions should I be prepared for? I'm a recent graduate and I have no experience and no social activities.
Social activities. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's an
let's
interesting way to
try that.
phrase it. Maybe they
Yeah.
don't have anything outside of school like they've done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Let's see. I would say, I think like when it comes to implementations and consulting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's in the name. Part of it is like having that technological skill, and the other part of it is like having that people skill. And
Yep.
I think like being able to outline what your skills are, and being balanced with it is really
Mm-hmm.
good. I don't remember the questions that I received,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I wish I could be like, "Yeah, this is the things that I asked," or "These are the things that they were looking for." But I think, like, being confident and, like, saying, like, "Okay, this is what I did." And then also the people skills don't necessarily come out. I mean, the people skills are sometimes coming out in the interview, right?
That is true.
Being confident, being like, "Okay, yeah, no, I've done this," or, I even if you don't understand, don't pretend like you know everything
Mm-hmm.
because you might get in a place like, "Oh, you know all these things? Yeah, let me put you in the department where it's the most difficult
Exactly.
and you're just up there." And it's funny, I don't know if you've seen the memes where it's just like, "Oh, somebody told me," it was like they told me to knock out the patient, and it's just like they're at the job and they're just like punch them. And so
Knocking
it's
out,
like
yeah,
people
literally
people
knocking out
saying
the
that they
patient.
know a certain thing, but they really don't know it, so they had to
Mm-mm.
like it's like a whole meme. But
Yeah.
just don't lie about like because a lot of times we feel like we need to kind of like we do this, I know this, I know that. Sometimes they're looking for
Mhm.
somebody who's teachable. They're looking for somebody
Yes.
who doesn't know like maybe everything. With you being a college student too, it's just like the expectations is like you're maybe not gonna have like all the experience, but like
Mm-mm.
are you moldable? Are you someone who's gonna be personable? You know what I mean? Are you
Yeah.
someone who's gonna take accountability? Are you someone who's gonna,
Mhm.
be responsible in these different things? And then also just, tailoring your resume, and if you do tailor your resume, like, really just kinda do research. Sometimes it's just like, they wanna know that you know or know that you're invested,
Yeah.
and know the different things, like, if you are applying for an implementation consultant, sometimes GPT be your best friend, like, like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, like, I'm looking to do this, like, what do I need to prepare for? What are the certain things?" And
Exactly.
they can pull up stuff from the company. Just understanding all those different things could be very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think more companies they do want to know what your knowledge is and who you are, as far as like what your expertise are. But sometimes they're looking for a good culture fit too, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like you being a good communicator,
Mm-hmm.
during the interview. And I like I said, I can't tell you what exactly why they chose
Mm.
me, but,
Yeah.
I think that's something that is important to kinda, like, have as far as,
Mm-hmm.
like, you going into the interview and being confident and, like, being personable, but also being knowledgeable what you're doing.
Yes.
So,
I love that. No, I
yeah,
agree, especially with what like whether it's saying being a college student, they also know that you haven't been in the game for like 20 something years. So
yeah,
they know you're going to be somebody who's relatively new. So being
mhm,
teachable, like what Brandon said, and also understanding that there are times you just have to put your hands up and say, I don't know, and that's
right,
okay. Like being honest with that as well. And again, doing that research, use ChatGPT, Google, do that research. So you're even if you don't know, you're willing to know. So yeah,
gotcha.
that's really
I
good
will also
advice.
say, because I've been slighted a lot of times, there are a lot of resources for college students,
Mm-hmm.
because they are looking for you guys specifically, for different things. Because I've been, like, looking, like, I think there's, like, different cohorts for, like,
Mm-hmm.
um, externships or, what am I trying to say? There had been things that I've been trying to workday specifically where it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, college student." I see it all the time,
Yes.
like, "Are you a recent college? Are you in school?" "I'm
Yeah.
not. I need a chance too," but so there's different programs out there that will teach you and train you,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes pay you to do those
Yep.
things where it's, like, not coming out of your own pocket, where it's just like you're going there and then they're training you and then they're gonna place you into a job, those are
Mm-hmm.
those opportunities out there too, so I would say, um, you know, apply, do what you wanna do, but, like,
Mm-hmm.
also look for opportunities that are maybe different
Yeah.
from, just applying for a job and maybe like a training to I forgot what I call it, sorta like a
Like an
training into
apprentice, almost
say
like
what?
a almost is the word apprenticeship? Maybe where
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
apprenticeship where they're actually, investing in you, what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and for you to kind of be that person, and they're looking for young people because they're looking for
Yeah,
people who are moldable, who are, young
exactly.
and able to get into the space, so, yeah, I would say
Mm-hmm.
that too.
That's amazing. Thanks for being on the podcast. This was great.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Career Journals. If you've enjoyed the conversation or just felt a little more seen in your career journey, be sure to follow along on social media at Career Journals Podcast for behind the scenes clips, career tips, and a little bit of humor. Don't forget to check out our website articles that break down how to get into various careers, job titles to look out for, salary estimates, and so much more. Whether you're choosing your first path or making a major pivot, Career Journals is here to help you navigate it with honesty and clarity.